Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing you guys the ultimate WhatsApp export hack in Photoshop. With this hack, you don't need to worry about low resolution or low quality of pictures when sending images on WhatsApp because it will just be WhatsApp compatible. So this is an already finished artboard design, all right, and it's as simple as coming to file, then exporting, right, coming down to export as. All right, so it takes a while to load itself up. All right, we have this export as page. It also works if you're exporting um, as if you're saving for web, almost the same. It's practically the same routine. So I'll just allow this to load up for a while. All right, so now that is loaded up, all right, I'll show you things I do. First off, I make sure my format is JPEG. All right, then I come to quality and make sure my quality is set at 6. All right, it is set at 6. The highest is 7, so I make sure it's set at 6. All right, then I would come over to image size where I have my width and my height. So what I practically do for every of my design, I make sure it is social media compatible. All right, so I have that the social media limit or the limit of pixels for phones and screens in general is 1080. Right, that's like the least it should go for bigger screens, and the highest it can go for smaller screens like phones and all of that. Right, so I make sure I stick with that. So I turn my width to 1080. Right, so automatically once I put my width at 1080, automatically adjusts the height, all right, for me to 1350. So this is the agreeable standard portrait for Instagram, WhatsApp, social media in general. All right, so once I have it at that 1080 by 1350, automatically changes the scale to tell me, okay, this is 36% of the actual size of the artboard, which is okay. So canvas size automatically adjusts to 1080 by 1350. So we are good with that. Next thing I would want to do is come to this color space and make sure I convert to sRGB, because sRGB is the color profile or the acceptable color profile for screens. That's RGB, red, green and blue. That's practically how the color comes together for screens. Then I click on embed color profile, and you notice that this particular file size changes. All right, it comes down to 362.1 kilobytes, and this is very, very perfect for WhatsApp. So it's as simple as that, like as simple as all of this I've explained. All right, so I click on export, and that's that about that. All right, so that's that for artboard. So now let me show you say carousels or carousel like design. So let me open up something in that line so that I actually explain that too. Okay, so you have this invoice. All right, so this is a 4-page continuous design. All right, so what I do is really quite simple. Same thing, come to file, export, save for web. All right, so it opens up the dialog box for me to save for web. So now this is open here. All right, let me just fit this to view. All right, so I have this 4 pages. All right, so once I click on each of the page, it shows me the size down here as 3.2 MB, which is big. This is 3.4 MB. This is 3.8 MB. This on its own, even though it's empty, is 3.29 MB, which is quite big for WhatsApp. All right, or big for IG, whatever platform you want to post it on. So now if you look at this world, so let's assume this is Instagram portrait, which can go as high as 1350 or 1440, depending on the resolution you're using or the canvas size you're using. If you're using a canvas size of 4000 by 3000 portrait, all right, that's when you have 1080 by 1440. If you're using 3000 by 3750, that's when you have 1080 by 1350. All right, all these are calibrations that I've used over time, so it's easy to keep in my memory. So if you notice this kind of carousel design, you have to apply some basic logic. So one thing that is common on all pages is, with the look of this, is the height. So the height here is a binding factor for all of these pages, all right, because we can't know the exact length from here to here of all the pages. We can know exactly if we do 1080 by 4 to give us the total length of this, which we can impute into this place as the width. But since we just know the height, what we can do is, since they are both chained up, what we'll just come here and change the height. So the maximum height, for instance, I used, just let's say I used 3000 by 3750, which was the former Instagram portrait standard size or canvas size I used to use to give me 1080 by 1350, which is the standard Instagram or social media export for portraits, right, which was later changed sometime last year to 1080 by 1440. All right, so if we're going by the former one, which is 1080 by 1350, it means that the height, the total height here, or permissible height here, should be what, 1350. So what I just do is simply come here to this height, because I know once I change the height, it would also change the width. So I just come here and type in 1350, and that's all. It automatically adjusts all of these pages to have 1350 by 1080, 1350 by 1080, 1350 by 1080, 1350 by 1080. That's all. Like, that's practically all, and you're done. Make sure that your resolution is set at very high here. All right, that's 80%. Your optimized is ticked and your embed color profile is ticked, and that's all. You're good to go to export. Like, you're really good to go. Once this finished rotating, you would notice that the file size will reduce drastically. All right, so from about 3 point something MB, we are now having 278.4 kilobytes, which is really so crazy and permissible. And you have a very, very sharp image and sharp resolution. So if you look at this now, all of them are practically under 500 kilobytes, and anytime you have an image under 500 kilobytes, you're really safe with what you're doing. And I think that's a good place to stay, especially when you're sending images not as documents but as just pictures on WhatsApp. So after that, you can highlight all of them at the same time, and you practically just click on save and you save it where you need to save. So I hope you got value from this video. If you want me to do more breakdowns of some other things you need to learn, you can type it in the comment section. I'll do well to break them down. Thank you very much, and see you guys in the next one. Bye. Peace.